So, Julie, please talk about mid-season burnout. Also, is there any older farmers out there? Ideas for us. I started 7 years ago and love it, but I'm 60. But uh, love it, but 60 is sneaking up. Number one, most important. Thank you for all you do for us and the great information. Thanks for that comment. Um, I mean, yeah, mid-season burnout is a real deal. The best way to avoid mid-season burnout is to. So here's the deal. I've talked about this before, but it's always worth reiterating because it's the real deal at this time of year. Um, you can't really avoid not putting in huge days on a farm at the beginning of the season, right? So when you're setting it up, when you're getting your initial nursery seedings happening, you're getting your initial field plantings out, you're moving irrigation, installing irrigation, you're doing all the setup stuff that happens in the early part of the year. So for those of us in the northern hemisphere, that's the time, depending on your zone, but it's the time kind of between the 1st of February to the second or third week of April, depending on what zone you are, right? But that's the kind of like hustle and go phase. The nice thing about that phase is, again, depending on what zone you're in, typically it's cooler at that time of year. So putting in big days isn't as exhausting as it is right now in summer. Like I'm down in my downstairs office right now because it's too damn hot outside. I don't want to do the podcast even outside. It's like over 30 degrees Celsius. Um, so it's cool during that time of the year, so you can put bigger days in then without as much repercussions, whereas if you're continuing to put big days in the summer, there's a problem. And so the best way to avoid that mid-season burnout is you have to have cutoff times. So you have to say to yourself, you decide how many hours you want to put in a day. But for us in the summer, when we were cranking peak production, which is now, Mark and I would work 6 to 2 p.m. And really, when it was going to be really hot, sometimes we'd even start at 5. But 6 to 2 p.m., then we're done. So after 2, we're finished. If we had to work past 2 in the summer, it would be on Thursdays when we're doing the majority of packing, the majority of washing. The packing actually on Fridays never really takes that long. We're usually done that pretty early, but we're doing the washing and we're in the shelter. So the important thing is, one, having cutoff times when you're finished work, or two, if you're doing work later in the day when it's really hot, you're working in a sheltered area, which is, has lots of ventilation. You're not in direct sunlight. Working with water is great. So doing that wet work is a great thing to do in the afternoon, like washing greens and all that, because it keeps you cool. So that's all really important. The third thing there is you got to take one day off a week. You have to. If you do not, especially in the summer, if you don't take Sundays off, that's most people's kind of given, most farmers given day off, because a lot of people do markets on Saturday, and so you got Sunday off. If you don't have at least one day off, you will burn out. If you have a number of weeks where you work 7 days a week, you will burn out, especially in the summer. So that's super important. But it's just knowing when to hold them, knowing when to fold them, knowing when to walk away, and knowing when to run. That's what it all comes down. You got to set limitations for yourself, and you have to abide by those limitations. And if you do that, you can be in it for the long run a lot more. Because like, you're 60, but like, you're not that old, Julie. Like I know lots of people that are farming at your age, and as we can see in the comments here, there's already a couple people that have commented on there and said the same. So yeah, just do those things, and I think that will give you a lot of framework to work within, and know your limits.